Okay, so anyways, Pokemon Designs. The good, the bad, the ugly.
We're jumping right into it. I can't even do my intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Otaku Nightly Hour. And today I have, of course, we have Raptor here, but we also have the return of Dr. Clef, aka
Of a
Pro.
nerd.
And so, like Raptor said, we are going to talk about Pokemon designs, and specifically the good, the bad, and the ugly designs that we want to address. And
I'm
obviously,
looking at
these
you,
are
Vanillite.
obviously these are personal opinions, and such like that. So take it with a grain of salt. Each of us have a different preference and everything, but we're gonna discuss like what we dislike about it and such, and why it just causes us to say no. So, who wants to go first? And what we'll do is pick one design per category, explain it, and then we'll go back rotating. Because we have three examples for each of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Alright, do you want to debate each point, or just have the person just kind of explain why,
I
and
would.
then move on?
Uh, do you want me to go first so we could use as an example?
Sure.
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna talk about good design, and that's just because it's simple, nothing too complicated or anything, and it's spherical and it's Wooloo.
As soon as you said spherical, my first thought was Spheal.
Yeah, no, that was not my first thought.
That
That
is
was
peak
nowhere
Pokemon
near.
design right there.
Did you
That's it.
guys
That
not see the memes that were going
I
on
was
when
I was
Sword and Shield
thinking
was going on? Where it's
I was
like,
did you not
thinking
see the memes with the Spheal rotating in the pool?
yeah, but did you not also see Wooloo just rolling around like a sphere?
no, I was like imagining something like Voltorb, like Hisuian Voltorb or something. I'm like, how did it go from wood to electricity?
Obviously, it's a Pikachu seen from above.
But anyway, so like Wooloo is very good as a design because it gets straight to the point of what it is. It's very simple and nothing overly complicated and such like that. So it is just a sheep, a round sheep. That's it. There's nothing complicated outside of there, and that's why I like it. It's simplicity these days. It kind of gets like messed up in a sense, but Wooloo
Obscured.
Wooloo is perfect.
I
Mama,
agree with that.
But I
I
will
killed the
say,
Wooloo.
I will say in
God, you have
some
no idea. No idea how many Wooloo I murdered to
just
get
to
that
get
one
shiny.
shiny Wooloo, exactly, yeah, and then I didn't even get to keep it, I gave it to my girlfriend.
Downright, like he's down bad. Everyone
but
down horrendous.
but to also go further, that sometimes simplicity is not the greatest thing to do. I bring also from the same generation of Sword and Shield, SQ. And it's
Okay,
like,
so you're
God,
just going down the
I have
line.
I have words.
okay, let's start off with you first. Why are you
I
concerned about
have
my
words
XQ?
because Alola did it better with Mimikyu. And then they nerfed it.
What do you mean with SQ? Like, what does that have to do with SQ? Because my problem with SQ is
The
that
design the
Yeah, she's
design of
saying she doesn't like
Mimikyu.
the design.
Yeah, that's why. That's what
Ice
I'm
Cube,
saying.
not
I don't like the
Mimikyu.
design. No, no,
it's
no. That's why. I'm saying Alola did it better. As a Pokemon that has a disguise-like ability in design.
it does a lot better with Mimikyu because again, it's like a toy Pikachu, or trying
Yeah,
to
it looks.
make a Pikachu costume versus like SQ.
It's a cosplayer.
I'ma put my head in the ground under like the cold ice and get an ice cube as protection.
It doesn't help that if you have a hail, the ice cube regenerates.
I think it helps if you're using it and you use hail.
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, but it doesn't make it any prettier to look at.
Personally, I think okay. So my simple problem, and I watch a lot of other artists try to quote unquote fix Pokemon designs that they dislike, and Ginger Ninja OWO puts it a little bit better. That SQ just having the simple like ice cube is too simple, and it makes it not that great. If it's like
Well, it's
I
part of
if
the name.
but the thing is, if it's dunking its head into water to make the ice cube, you would think there would be more ice around like its shoulders and neck area.
But no, it's got one really long alfalfa hair.
It's a weird way to put it, but okay.
And
Yeah,
it
it's got one really long hair, and then it's the head.
and honestly, like what was the name of that one Pokemon that turns into like a large glacial plate or something?
Avalugg?
Avalugg and such like
It
that.
doesn't turn into the plate.
But okay, so they go into the effort to make like the sharp points for like stalactite, stalagmite kind of ice shards on those Pokemon, but they won't put the effort to put it on Escu's cube for a head because it's too perfect, it's too simple, and
It's
I'm
too
just like,
square, is what
mm,
you're saying.
yeah.
It's unnatural.
Yeah. Cuz I see like perfect shapes coming from like
ICDM?
steel types because of the fact that like they're machine made. So Magnemite, Magnezone, Magneton, other Pokemon like Ampharos also has like the perfect sphere because the light bulb and such like that and
I
everything.
just thought they were really high on iron because, like, you look at Aggron and you're like, that Aron just eats iron for most of the day.
True.
Straight up steel.
But like it's perfect form and everything and such, so it makes sense for me because like machinery, eating iron, all that stuff and everything. SQ just Junk's head perfect cube, and it's like no.
Hey, some people got the Riz, some people don't.
And then finally, this is my personal. It's simple, but it's too ugly. From Sun and Moon's Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Alolan area, Bruxish.
I could see that.
I see
What do
it.
you, I look at it and all that comes to my mind is British person.
Well, like okay,
British person?
okay. I want to know if Pokemon designers were intentionally trying to make it ugly, or if that was like their thought of what when they look at very beautiful tropical colorful fish and saw that.
They've come up with beautiful tropical fish in the past. I get the feeling this is very intentional, given like
Poison typing.
I don't know the point. Not only I don't think it's the poison typing, but rather like just that there's a wide amount of fish. Not all of them are gonna look beautiful and serene. You're gonna have a few of them that look kind of ugly. And let me tell you, I've seen a few ugly fish in my day.
I think
So
I think my problem is the colors. The colors are too in your face.
I see that, and I think to myself, that's probably a dangerous animal with the way it's kind of like colored.
Well, yeah, because if it is a poison type, I would understand that because obviously bright colored things in nature often are associated with being poisonous or toxic.
Something you don't want to touch. Yeah, I see that, and I think that makes sense. But its face, though,
Why does it have
I
to have the
think-
teeth?
because British people. That's all.
British
That's the only thing that comes to my mind whenever I see that. I was like, I don't know about
They're
this
British,
one,
I'm
Chief.
sorry.
The design on this one's kind of interesting.
But yeah, like that's what I like. All of them are quote unquote simple designs, but one does it better than the other two. Clearly. Okay, so that's my first set of examples. Who wants to go next?
Alright. Let me see what I have in my mind's eye. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the ugly. I'm looking at Eternatus, the Eternamax form.
Okay.
It looks like a face hugger from Aliens, and I can't unsee it.
I was gonna say, doesn't it just look like a big hand, a fist, if you will?
Exactly, it's literally just a hand, and then you don't even get to use it. They can't just show you the power of God and then say, nah, dude, you're never gonna touch it.
I liked it.
They could,
for
and they did.
The scene that it was
They
like.
could and they did.
Look, for the final day scene with the giant hand, I was fine with because clearly, like, they've been building it up and everything, and I'm like, okay, that looks like that could kill the world. I totally understand that. And then when
If nothing else, it looks like it could devastate maybe like some
the
poor guy's
continent.
apartment.
At least
No,
the
no, no, no.
continent,
His
at
apartment.
least.
Some poor guy's apartment. Have you seen the champion? Have you seen our character? We can take it out. I'm sure the average trainer could probably stand their fair
I don't
share
know.
against it.
I don't know. I don't have that much faith in Hop when he goes in. When he goes in with
I
a
don't have
normal
faith
type
in Hop at
Pokemon.
all. I don't have faith in
Well,
Hop
he
at
had
all.
the legendary on his side. He could have stood in there and just taken our place if we broke our leg the week prior.
Mind you, he lost against his own legendary twice.
Mm.
That should tell you how strong it is.
But can you elaborate details as to why you don't like Eternatus?
Okay.
Is actual...
The main reason I don't like Eternatus is because you take the Eternamax form specifically. You take such a cool design, what is basically like this alien thing, that really reminds me of Deoxys with like its multiforms.
Okay.
But dragon.
Yeah, but you give it what is essentially just a mega evolution, but really big, and that's more a commentary on my thought on Gigantamaxing. But I don't
think
know. It's just it
because
just seems
I
out
have
of
it on the
place.
side. I have it on the side, and I'm kind of agreeing with you, but I'm looking at both of them side by side, and now I'm wondering how does Eternatus, like regular Eternatus, turn into that? Like I'm trying to understand like where that makes
Because
that.
I look at stuff like, for example, Charizard Gigantamax. I look at the other Gigantamaxes because it's the only form changes really in the game.
Right.
And my thought is, okay, well, the design at least makes sense. You know, it's
Like
just Charizard,
Alakazam,
but super amped up.
like Alakazam to Gigantamax, Alakazam is just a cake now, even though she was a cream puff beforehand. And then you get more cream, more
It gets more
berries,
creamy.
and such like that. Eevee gets fluffier. Meow just gets longer.
Pikachu just becomes the
Chungachu.
OG Pikachu.
I call him Chungachu.
I thought you were saying Chunkachu.
No,
Because
Chungachu.
he's a heckin' chunker.
No, okay. And then I look at all of those, and then I look back at Eternatus, and I just think they literally just wanted to put the Master Hand from Smash Bros. In Pokemon.
Well, I saw the design of Eternatus Max, and I thought, and like, not only did I think of it, but other people kind of mentioned it online. Or like, oh, is that the one of the like 1,000 arms of Arceus that shaped the universe? Because that would make sense, and that'd be pretty dope if they tied it in there. But they never did. But I like to think that's basically what it is.
I think
I mean,
the
but that-
anime doesn't really make it all that better because, like, with the recent episode already finally coming out by the time this is recorded of Ash's final championship battle, and the whoopsie, they accidentally summoned Eternatus.
Again.
Again, yeah, this is the second time.
How many times do you have to teach you this
And then
lesson, old man?
Ash doesn't even catch the legendaries. Like Go is on a streak with those legendaries. Caught the Suicune, caught Eternatus, but made the smart decision to hand it over.
And then
I
it
would
came
not have handed
out.
it over.
Look. Ash technically has rule over a legendary, but that happens like whenever the world is ending, and they never touched on it again because the movies are not canon, which is Lugia.
What about Latias?
Latias is a different
That
story.
Latias doesn't count. That was a thirst trap in that movie.
That was a thirst trap.
When you really think
Well-
about it, it was a thirst trap in that movie. Not for us as like the viewers, but for Ash.
Hmm. Anyway,
But technically, he could like use that Latias at any time, right? Yes,
I mean, in
no?
the couple final episodes, the Latias does come back, and it's just kind of there.
mm,
It's helping
Yeah.
him out, but it's not showing up.
Which I think is
Emotional
just kind of like
support.
disappointing.
emotional.
It's an
Emotional
emotional
damage.
support animal.
Anyway, so is that all your problems with the
No.
Turnamax?
Well, there's a few more, but I'm gonna save those for a rainy day.
Okay.
Wild.
So, bad design, going back to Galar, Blip Bug.
Blip
Okay.
bug. If you hear
Blip Bug.
clacking from my end, I apologize. I have to look up these Pokemon.
It is one of the ugliest Pokemon I've ever seen, and I understand why it has to be that way.
the one with the
But
glasses,
you put it under
right?
bad design. You didn't put it under ugly.
Look, it's not actually glasses, they're eyes.
Yeah,
Those
no.
are his eyes. They're
Yeah,
just-
I know they're his eyes, but they're supposed to resemble like glasses because he looks like a scientist or a nerd.
He looks like a nerd.
Why do you have to push him down like that? He's just trying his hardest.
Not trying hard enough.
I can definitely see why you would place this thing in the ugly category, but I still cannot fathom why you put it in the bad design category.
Because it's not ugly, it's just the head. Like, the concept for the Pokemon was great. And I am a big fan of Orbeetle. I just wish his like stats were a tiny bit better, you know?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now here's a
I
crucial
cannot-
question that you would say if you could fix it.
oh,
What would you do?
if I could fix it, all I would do is just like give it a Caterpie head.
Oh, so his head's just too long vertically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Make the head a little smaller.
Okay,
Okay.
so now here's my question. if we made the head smaller, but we still wanted that like verticalness, would the glasses eyes being bigger like vertically make more sense for you then?
Yes.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because then he
What about a
obviously
shiny
looks
form?
like a giant one.
Is a shiny form any better?
It's green. I think it's green, actually.
I think
Or pink. It's something like that.
shiny Blipbug is a like navy blue yellow-ish because by default
It changes slightly.
yeah, it's one of those like super tiny changes and such like that.
It's like a shiny Gengar and a shiny Garchomp. The change in the shiny is so minuscule.
Well, okay,
Well,
so
to
it
be
used
fair,
to have yellow. It used to have a yellow like bow tie with like kind of pants-ish situation. That turns purple instead. There's like the very minuscule difference.
was
But
gonna
yeah.
say,
It's just wearing different clothes. That's basically what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's wearing different bow tie and it's wearing different
I-
pants.
It wants to exist. It just wants to be.
Okay, so now moving on to your good design.
Oh,
What do you think
I
is a good
have-
design?
Okay. I have probably something that's gonna be like a little overrated, but I think Eevee is probably one of the best designed Pokemon that ever exists. Period.
Agreed.
100%.
Eevee is my boy. I love Eevee. Eevee is too fluffy for this world, and needs more and needs to be loved more. Even though he's technically at this point like the second mascot of Pokemon.
I think Eevee might be the first mascot of Pokemon because like Eevee's whole shtick is evolution,
Mhm.
which is like the point
The
of the game.
signature.
Exactly.
I don't. Okay, so there's a few things that I don't like about Eevee, but that's just like more on the creepy side of things that don't that make me a tiny bit uncomfortable.
Look, when are we getting Ghost type Eevee? That's what I want to know. When are we getting the brick or the boot?
Okay. So my tiny bit problem is sometimes reading the Pokedex, which you could obviously live without reading, but me,
I do.
Oh yeah,
curious.
Pokedex entries are super exaggerated.
Yeah, but me, I read it out of curiosity, and one of them says that the more Eevee hangs out with its trainer, the more its face will turn into its trainer. And I know that's supposed to like resemble how like owners and dogs will start to look like each other and such the more they hang out
So
and
that's
everything.
why it was so weird in the anime at one point.
Yeah.
But like with Pokemon, they can actually like really physically change how they are and such drastically. Unlike us, where like we kind of morph our smiles to look similar and such like that a little bit because we adjust to each other. Eevee could just straight up just have your face. At that.
Do you know why though?
Well, like, cause you're friends.
No! That's a terrible reason why. The correct answer is because its DNA is too unstable. It's probably picking up
What
like
is
your
it, a
leftover
Ditto?
DNA. No, the whole reason why it can evolve into so many different types is because its DNA is unstable to begin with.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it starts looking more and more like the trainer because it just, just passively starts absorbing the DNA from the trainer.
Especially if you're like feeding it food for like your table food to it or something like that. Which don't lie. Every dog and cat owner does this. Is that like the animal will come by, give you those like little baby eyes and such like that, and you'll give it a little bit of your food.
I give them nothing. I do
As much
specifically
as
because they pull like the baby doll eyes on me. I was like, "That's what you're doing. I see through your little lies."
I see through the lies of the Jedi.
Exactly.
All right, Raptor. Then it's your turn and such like that. Well, okay, you're gonna put a good, a bad, or the ugly.
Well, you started with good. Crow started with ugly, so I guess I'll just start with bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I see that me and Crow actually have the same Pokemon, like just kind of written in the exact same bad category. So I'm gonna skip that one until he gets to it, and I'm gonna go with Hoopa Unbound.
Okay, so why?
It doesn't really look like a Pokemon. It doesn't look like, something you would look at like at the Pokemon game and be like, ah, yes, that is clearly a Pokemon.
Mm.
It looks like some. It either looks like Ganondorf or it looks like somewhat like some misshapen Yu-Gi-Oh monster. I don't know how to describe it, other than
I
it's kind of
feel like it looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh mixed with a Digimon more, rather than
It's
a Pokemon.
Ganondorf.
yeah.
Ganondorf, the Pokemon.
It does not fit a Pokemon aesthetic, whereas like Pokemon normally kind of draw inspiration from nature. most of the time an animal or like
Or
of some
mythology.
kind. Yeah, or even some kind of mythology. Hoopa Unbound doesn't really fit the bill.
Hmm.
The smaller little version of Hoopa,
The original Hoopa does
yeah,
resemble a
it.
Pokemon.
I can look at that and I think to myself, that's probably a new Pokemon that came out, and indeed it was. But when I saw Hoopa Unbound, I was like, the large floating rings, the multiple limbs.
Okay,
It's
okay,
kind of wild and out
okay.
there.
Let me propose this. Is it A, the face, or B, the upper torso chest area? That's your problem.
All of the above.
Cause like now, if you're gonna propose a bad design and such and everything, you have to propose like a fix for it in a sense. If you could fix it, like where's your problem area mainly?
Its whole existence.
It just exists. That's the problem. It doesn't need to. No. If something could be changed, I guess maybe yeah, the torso itself could be changed up a little.
Look, but then I can't name my Hoopa Unbound Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, you could try. I ain't gonna stop you.
my
But like,
I could agree. There is a little bit of weirdness in the torso area that is Hoopa Unbound. The fact that it has abs, quote unquote, because like I'm looking at the 3D model that they use.
I'm
for
looking at the 3D
Pokemon
model.
Go.
I don't see any abs.
No. So you look on Pokemon Go, they have the lines to resemble what would look like abs in a sense, or something like that, and I'm uncomfortable by that logic. So if anything,
Well, actually, I'm looking at the sprite. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean. But I think that's more of a. Wait a minute. How many hands does it have?
it
Six.
has technically supposed to be 6, but sometimes on the model it only shows 4,
No, I'm seeing 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5. I'm seeing an odd pair here.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
remember,
Where did the one hand go?
he can put his hand back into his body.
Oh, I thought you said he could put his hand into any other dimension. I was like, yeah, I get that.
Oh no,
That's
I
part of
see
the
it.
aesthetic.
I see his 6th hand in this picture. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it'll have
it's
6.
inside
It'll
out.
have
It's
4.
inside out.
It's
Like the
yeah.
arm part
Within,
is in the
without?
body. Because at the
It
other end, it
is-
has like the pointed end that kind of looks like a Bowser spike.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I think the chest design, if nothing else, they could either make it look a little more human-like or just anything else from his current design because the weird
they're in
shell-like
that
thing
weird-
trying to cover it.
Yeah, they're in that weird gray area situation.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know how I feel about it, other than just I think you can definitely improve the design. I just really don't like it.
No, I agree with you. I think that I think Hoopa Unbound is a little bit on the off side in terms of like putting him with the rest of like Pokemon.
What would you
standing
call a
next to him.
Pokemon? It just doesn't fit it.
Yeah, like one of these things is not like the other kind of situation.
Yeah.
Especially because isn't Hoopa Unbound technically a mythic Pokemon?
Yeah, it's a mythic.
Yes.
So
And I
putting it
think
with
more
all
so
the
than
other-
anything,
with all the other mythic Pokemon, it doesn't make sense. Like regular Hoopa makes sense. Hoopa Unbound, no.
wait, Crow, I have a question.
What's
Is it technically like an Ultra Beast? Because it's not from this reality, is it?
No, it is from this reality.
Okay,
It's just really old.
because I was gonna say that would make sense if
So
it was
then,
like
in that
not from this
case-
reality. Because you could look at the Ultra Beasts and they're so wild and varied. That would make sense. But if it's from this plane of existence, this reality,
That doesn't make sense.
then it doesn't make sense.
Well, you also have to take into consideration its region of origin. We've never actually been to in any of the game.
Yeah, because technically, isn't it from like some kind of like Egyptian themed one?
Yeah, it's from a more desert-like area.
Arabian Nights.
No, I'm
that's
not getting
copyrighted.
copyrighted. I'm not getting copyrighted.
That's as far as we're going with that. But yeah,
Okay, so
definitely see
your
that
next,
aesthetic.
either ugly or good design.
I guess we'll just go with good. I'm gonna go with Gardevoir, just cause I feel like that is like one of the biggest things people would just talk about. You know, a huge
Yeah,
controversial
the
take.
rule of
Very.
34 artists are starting.
Yeah, I mean, like not for that reason, but I mean, like I like
A
its design.
reason. It's
No.
a reason. It's
Is
not
that
reason.
look, people will also agree with you. It's just a plain fact because if you look at Pokemon Infinite Fusion, Gardevoir
It's in a
has
horrifying fact.
Gardevoir
Gardevoir
has so many Infinite
uh,
Fusion custom sprites with other Pokemon
Yeah.
because people get so creative with Gardevoir.
And I feel like that's a problem,
Creative
but that's
is
an
a-
argument for another day. For now,
Creative
I
is
want
a
to.
strong word.
For now, I want to focus on
Look,
what makes the
look,
design
look,
good.
Look. If you go on a, if you go and browse on a private tab
On a
for-
place that's not good to search.
No, you just go to Google. You just go to Google and such like that, and just look up Gardevoir. I think it would take you at most 3 minutes to find something that is not Pokemon approved. of
That is not
Gardevoir.
supposed to be there.
Anyway,
It's sad.
and finally, your ugly design.
Oh, I didn't even get to explain what's up with Gardevoir. Okay.
Well, what you want? It's kind of a given.
What makes it a given? What about it is given?
Oh,
That makes it a good design.
How much fan art do you think exists of Gardevoir that we don't need to explain why Gardevoir is
More
popular?
importantly, how expensive the trading cards for Gardevoir are.
I have a $50 card of Gardevoir from the recent set.
That's my point.
So, like, let's move on.
All right. Ugly. I would have to say Mime Jr.
Why?
I think Mime Jr. is actually probably the better of the Mr. Mime evolutions.
Well, no, I think Mime Jr.
Well,
is one of the
this was kind of like
better-
before Mr. Rhyme. I didn't really think of Mr. Rhyme when it came out.
I think no, I like Mime Jr. because Mime Jr. is one of the better ones of all the baby Pokemon.
Mm.
Besides Togepi.
Togepi is
Togepi
the
was
OG baby Pokemon, and it deserves to be treated with love and respect.
well, I know, but Togepi is also like the poster child of all the baby Pokemon too. If we're gonna look at the other quote unquote baby Pokemon designs that also came out, Mime Jr. was good too.
That is true.
I
Honestly,
like the clown
So is-
appearance
so
of
is
it.
Sudowoodo.
honestly, I think there is no bad baby design that they
But
that
there
they
is
came
no
out with.
amazing baby design.
Yeah, the only one that was like super duper amazing, but that's because it also got an early release before it got announced into Johto, was obviously Togepi. And
Yes,
Togepi also
100%.
got like such a long view time that people got exposed to Togepi for so long because of the anime, because basically Misty was carrying it around for every episode.
True.
Yeah. Well,
Give me.
other than
give me a
that,
sec, I'll be
Pichu.
right back.
I absolutely like Pichu as well, but for Mime Jr., I definitely am putting it like in the ugly category just because something about it's just very off-putting.
What would you say is the part that bothers you the most? Is it the nose, the hat, the tiny feet, the long arms with the tiny feet?
It's a little disproportionate, but that makes sense for a baby Pokemon, but I wouldn't say it's that either. Maybe it's the overall clown-like appearance, but that doesn't really hold up a lot of weight because I mean, like,
given the what it evolves after too.
yeah, what it evolves into, yeah, those are just kind of like, you know,
I think
atrocious.
I would have understood if you meant the nose was the problem, because like in the later iterations of that Mime Jr. evolves into, Mr. Mime does not have a nose. Like at the time and such like that. But then we got Mr. Rhyme and such like that and everything, and he got a mustache.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not the nose. Maybe it's the head. Like
Or is it the
I don't know if
eyes?
it's supposed to...
The eyes with like the black with the
Well,
white
yeah, they
circle.
look lifeless, but that's not the problem. Those soulless eyes that stare straight into, like, you know, the very being that is your soul. That's not it.
Mm.
I definitely think it's the hair.
The hair hat thing.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? You don't know if it's a hair, you don't know if it's hat. Not only that, but it kind of looks like a turd, and that was something I used to never like. It's like the poop emoji. I don't know why it just suddenly started like becoming so popular, and people like get it like
Do you
as
not
pillows,
like the
and I'm like,
poop
why?
emoji with the face specifically, or just the poop emoji period on concept?
The idea of it. The idea that people are like, "Hell, yo, dude, do you like my like a pillow that's shaped like a turd?" I love it. I sleep with it every night. Like,
I would
no, that's kinda
understand
weird.
if you didn't like the one with the face on it. You know what I mean?
just the idea of some turd being something that people like just doesn't sound right.
Okay.
So Mime Jr. I think just kind of like
a
unconsciously
poop
embodies
hat?
that. It just doesn't look right.
Okay, so
All I'm saying is that it wasn't made in Arceus's image.
he made me in his own image. All right, so my turn again. Okay, so this is gonna be my second set, and I will start off with one of my favorite, more complex designs that is kind of more out of my realm of what I usually like in terms of design. But Garchomp, Garchomp is
Yes.
magnifique as out of all the dragon types.
Except for shiny. Outside of the shiny, it is amazing.
I think no, it's because like here's the thing. I like Garchomp's design because it kind of gives off that it's either a shark or a plane, but at the same time, you don't care if it's supposed to be a shark or a plane. It looks cool. It looks great, and then it has the power to prove for it, especially
Yes,
because
but
it
I
came
do
from.
find it to be a little horrifying in Pokemon Go whenever you have it as your buddy, and you're like in the car, and it looks like it's just like jetting straight towards you, like it's on a mission.
Because like I like
Get
the
away from
story.
me.
No, because I like the story of Garchomp because you got little Gibble. He's trying
Have you
his
seen it
best
fly
and
though?
such like
Have you
that.
seen it fly?
I seen it fly against the Flygon. Okay,
It shouldn't. It shouldn't work.
it swims too.
Yes, but
It's
it
a
doesn't
ground
help.
type.
It doesn't help that Garchomp. The way it flies in the game is just so like wild to look at because it just basically tucks in its body, spreads out its wings, and just goes. Could you imagine a human just like putting up their legs, spreading out their hands, and just
haven't
moving forward? Just levitating forward. That is what it does.
I like Garchomp. Garchomp is intimidating and he's great,
Whenever
especially
he's
because
not acting like a goofball by flying.
especially because he goes like started from the bottom, now we're here kind of story. Because look at little Gibble, look at the little boy, he can barely
I
touch
feel
his
like
knees.
You can say the same thing about Salamence and its entire evolutionary line.
Bagon was fine.
It was trying to fly, and it could never fly.
And
So
then-
Shelgon has to like step up, protect itself as it tries to practice like flying, and then lastly you get to the gracefulness that is Salamence.
But I like Garchomp a little bit better because it's intimidating. Versus I don't take Salamance's face all that seriously.
To be fair, it's not very tall either. If it was taller, like how you would see it in the anime as opposed to the show,
The
it'd be a
anime
little more
versus the show,
intimidating.
they're the same thing.
No. Like in the show, you can ride it on its back, whereas like in the game, it's basically a Charizard situation,
Mm.
where like it's almost as tall as you, a little bit taller, and I'm just like, wow, how am I supposed to ride on this guy's back?
Most Pokemon are taller than me anime. Most Pokemon
Okay,
are supposed to
the
be on the big
average
side.
trainer.
Anyway, but like, yeah, I like Garchomp. Garchomp is great. The designs is very good and such like that. It's kind of silly a little bit, but it's intimidating nonetheless.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a quote unquote bad design, and I'm kind of going against my boy here, but I don't like Ditto's design all that much in terms of what he is in for design and such like that. And don't get me wrong, Ditto's great. I like looking into his soulless eyes and laughing at it every time he turns into a Pokemon. But my problem is that Pokemon Company has not utilized his design the best that they could in terms of marketing.
Would you prefer they use its like beta form?
Like, okay. So here's my thing.
You have a
I
thing?
feel
What's your thing?
I feel that they should have kept with the concept that Ditto could also turn into objects, like from the very, very early anime. Because remember, he once turned into a cannon, a freaking cannon that spit
And a
out
book.
cannonballs and
And
a
a book.
table.
But primarily the book about Dratini, because just in Gens were like pointing at like transform into this Dratini, and just sees a book is like you got it, Chief. It turns into a book, and they're like, no, that's the wrong approach.
And here's my thing. I feel like the Pokemon Company, and if they take ideas from this and such like that, I get a little bit of credit on here, okay? I get a little portion of it. Is that Ditto needs to be a slime.
It's not.
Well, what I mean product wise. You know those like slimes? A lot of kids are into slime now these days and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Why don't they make Ditto slime?
That's a good question. Hey, well, maybe that's something you can do for your business idea.
I'm not making slime. No, 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 no.
You can sell slime, put it in like in a little mini bottle, and be like, "Here's your Ditto."
Make a purple one and a blue one. It's the shiny one.
There you go.
Okay, and then here's my other thing on top of that. If we're going back to design from like the original anime, I want them to start making Ditto line like home stuff with Ditto's face on it.
Again, another business idea for you to take advantage of. You can sell like little mini plush pillows
And just
of
put
like
Ditto's face on it.
exactly just regular household items. A spoon with Ditto's face on it. A like a table with Ditto's face on it.
A computer.
A book
Ditto's
with
face
Ditto's
on it.
face on
A
it.
computer
You
with
see,
Ditto's-
now you're getting it. This doesn't sound like a bad idea. This sounds like a great money making idea.
Clef, you have any input about this?
I think he's still gone though. We need to keep going. The show must go on without him.
Okay, so, and then this is the ugly design part and everything. I really, as much as people like to meme on it, I hate Among Us's design.
Among Us.
Stop. I know it's a meme to
I'll say it. Insert the Among Us sound effect. He's got our back. I know he'll do it.
Look, I dislike Among Us's design mainly because okay.
Its
in terms-
paradox form was kind of interesting.
Well, no. So here's my problem. So
You
when
have a problem with it?
they first introduced it, they said that people would get it confused for a Pokeball from in the overworld and such like that. And that made
Yes.
sense when it was in like the first evolution and such because it's small, right?
Yes.
But I would not understand how Among Us, a very large Pokemon, which is almost the height of like any average trainer in terms of the anime and such like that, would get confused with a Pokeball in the overworld.
Is that what the description says? What does the Pokedex say on that?
That well, like okay, but no, I'm talking about like gameplay wise. You're going about, you see a Pokeball and you think it's an item. But sometimes it's a Pokemon encounter. From the original games, it was like Voltorb, Electro, which makes sense
Yeah.
because they look like the actual like Pokeball and such like that, based on the sprite that they were back in the day and such like that. But now with the newer one, when Among Us was introduced and such, the first evolution made sense because they're small. But how would you get confused? And Among Us, which is the size of like at least like 3 to 4 foot tall, with a Pokeball.
Wait, so are you saying in those games you have a chance of encountering Among Us and not Fungus?
Yes.
Dr. Clef, can you confirm if this is true or not?
This is true. Black and white was a weird time.
So you could just encounter Among Us just straight up.
As a Pokeball.
Yeah, it could look like a little Pokemon in the grass, and then you just walk up to it, and all of a sudden, you're
Among
fighting
Us.
You're fighting one of the tankiest Pokemon in black and white. Period.
Yeah.
I do
that
not
doesn't-
recall ever running into one.
Well, because maybe you didn't go by
It's
like
randomized.
picking up all
It-
the Pokeballs and such like that.
Yeah, it was entirely randomized.
Maybe
Yeah.
I just never got good enough.
But like that's my problem is that equalizing to that does not make sense to me as a player, and that's why like if they said that Among Us
So you have no problem with the design, just the gameplay mechanic.
the gameplay equivalent. Now, if they made him smaller in size, like the same size as Fungus,
It's twice
But-
the size of Fungus. Fungus is like 1 foot tall.
yeah, but like okay, so here's so I would have made it. I would have understood if Fungus was rather a Pokemon that could evolve into two different forms, with just a shield form or a night form. It still has the top part
If there were
of it.
nightmare form, I was like, take it easy.
Still have the top part and everything, but not actually like physically get bigger. Still staying at that 1 foot space, because then approaching said Pokeball, and then encountering it would still make sense because it's the size of a Pokeball, which is about like a foot.
Come to think of it, how big are the Pokeballs in the game supposed to be? Like from the character's perspective.
Okay, from the character's perspective, about the palm of your hand.
Right, but like if you see it's like a huge like circle just laid out on the floor that's your size, if I saw a Pokeball as wide as I was, I would look at that and say, I don't think that's a normal Pokeball.
Yeah, but in the game it doesn't make sense. So it's just like
You're not a normal Pokeball.
all right. So that's my 2 cents about that set of Pokemon and everything.
Actually,
Clef.
you kind of brought that up on me now. How are
Yeah.
you confusing Voltorb for an item?
Well, okay.
How do you confuse something that's like 3 or 4 times the size of a volleyball for an item? A Pokeball.
Well, okay, so you have to give it in context with the game that it came out of. Because remember, the Pokeballs were about a square sprite big, the same size as
opposed
you.
to
The same size as you.
Yes, but we've seen in the anime the size discrepancies between a Voltorb and
An
something
Pokeball.
like a potion. Yeah,
Yeah.
an Electrode, and then something like a potion.
And a Pokeball.
Exactly.
I think at one point they actually did hold a Pokeball. They held up a Voltorb thinking it was a Pokeball, and then it just kind of turns around, looks at them, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is a Pokemon," and then it uses explosion on them.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
On cartoon
so
style.
Yeah,
But,
but
like-
that episode, I distinctly remember them saying, "What a giant Pokeball!"
but like
Yeah.
okay, so for example, in Pokemon,
To be fair, your character is
sizes-
10 years old, so
there's
So is
also
Ash.
there's
He's been that way for
also-
decades.
there's also the Pokemon anime logic where like Pokemon are different sizes and such like that. Like apparently a baby Lugia is just a smaller Lugia.
this
Yeah.
is true.
So
This is true.
like by that logic, we can also say that the Electro Voltorbs were like babies or like the smaller variants of them because in
Don't
Pokemon
try
Go,
to justify what the show does.
but like I understand for Pokemon Go standards because there is a like it's smaller than it normally is kind of thing and such like that, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that the small size Among Us, Voltorb, and Electrode could be is about like maybe at least 2.8 feet to 3 feet.
Is that what it says?
I'm taking a guesstimate from when I used to play Pokemon Go as well. Having a few
Okay.
like on the small side kind of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look it up right now.
But anyway, so moving on to Clef's, your turn for your set of Pokemon. But I also see that on here you don't have that many ugly Pokemon.
Ugly Pokemon. My real complaint is like just Eternatus in terms of ugly. So
Wow.
in terms of bad design, I look at Vanillite.
Okay.
It goes from ice cream cone to a
Sunday.
frozen, basically to a sundae, into a double ice cream clone with a little cloud on top of it.
Okay.
And I think this doesn't feel like a Pokemon. Cryogonal, the snowflake felt more like a Pokemon. This feels like a dessert that someone was really hungry when they designed it.
Okay, but to be fair, this is also the same generation. Black and White was just like a trip, a fever dream.
Look, Black and White was probably one of the best Pokemon generations ever, and I will never doubt it.
But the designs were kind of a fever dream.
But the designs were a hell of a fever dream.
Because this is also the same generation that we got a garbage bag as a Pokemon. Which, by the way, did you know that Pokemon has officially stated that Trubbish, the little trash bag, is a cat?
Where did they say that? Because
Okay.
I don't believe it.
Okay, so there was a campaign where they were like celebrating cat Pokemon and such like that, and you see like Glameow, Skitty, Meowth, Purloin, like traditionally cat designed Pokemon, and Trubbish is in the
Trubbish.
picture.
So does that make Trubbish the fattest cat Pokemon to exist? Because like Perugly can't hold that title anymore.
I don't know.
Nothing about. Wait, it stands on 2 legs, and like its arms aren't even actual arms. How can you say this is a cat though?
Well, so does what's its face? So does Meowth, and so does Liepard. Liepard's first evolution.
Yeah, so I'm gonna post it into the chat here and such like that. This is the official merchandise with cats Pokemon featured in there, and in there you'll see like traditional cat Pokemon that you would expect, like the Meowth variants, Meowth, Litten, Purug, Glameow, Purloin.
I like to think
Skitty.
someone just forgot to take out the trash, and Trubbish just kind of like stepped in and was like, "Hey,
Skitty?
food."
Skitty's there. Sneasel technically is also a cat. But then there's Trubbish.
Sneasel people.
It's a weird way to put it, but okay.
Please bleep that.
No.
Sneasel's a beep.
Anyway, so yeah. But you
Wait, how do we get on this train?
you
About
wanted
just
no, cause we were talking about Vanillix and such like that. And would you, if you could fix it, what would you do, or just take out the line altogether?
I would make it stop existing.
You just don't want it to
Replace
exist.
it.
objectively.
Look, Cryogonal as a Pokemon objectively exists,
Mhm.
and it has a better design, despite the fact that it is
A
Cryogonal.
snowflake. With
It
a
is a
face.
snowflake, but it feels like an unknown.
Mhm.
It straight up just feels like Snowflake Unknown.
Okay. But then this case we just don't.
I don't feel like it was given the best choice at life, and now it's struggling
I
to
think
like.
it's the eternal happy face that bothers me.
What's wrong with being happy?
No, it's like cartoony happy, which is, I know it's Pokemon and everything, but anyway.
What's wrong with trying to be happy though?
All right, and your good design, Dr. Clef.
My amazing design would be Bennett. God, I love that Pokemon.
The doll that got left behind.
Yeah, I mean
That's a
it's
sad way of
so-
putting it, but yeah. That's a depressing way of putting it.
Well, like, because the thing is, culturally, it makes sense because Japan has this doll festival in which they will give dolls their final goodbyes so they don't become.
So that they don't hunt them back?
Yeah, they don't get haunted by spirits and such like that, which in this case, Bandit is that result of an abandoned doll or toy.
So that there ain't no hollow background.
I don't even know how that works.
I like Bandit. I also like Mega Bandit. It's
Yes.
very good. It's very good indeed. It gives me
I
the
absolutely
heebie-jeebies.
love Bennett. It's one of my favorite ghost types, and it deserves more love.
I
It
think-
doesn't get as much love as it should.
I think one of my problems that I have, and this is just a tiny little tidbit, I don't see how Shuppet will evolve into Bandit, if that makes sense. Like the
Because
progression
it's an
doesn't
abandoned
really
It's an abandoned blankie.
make a blanket. Okay, I
An
would.
abandoned blankie.
I think I would have been fine at first if it was a spirit holding the doll and then taking over the doll kind of design. But this
Okay.
was back in
Okay.
the day, so I don't think they would have gotten that far.
You know,
They should have
for
gone
a-
further.
For a Pokemon that like was part of the Weather Trio edition, someone really had abandonment issues. Like if you really look at some of the Dex entries during that era,
Mhm.
there's just a lot of abandonment and like mistreatment.
I feel like that should tell you something
Someone
about the
just-
region.
Someone just went through a breakup, okay, and then they're just feeling alone.
Who? Why? Don't know? Don't care.
Raptor, your turn.
Hello. Next round. Okay. Well, since you guys were talking about Trubbish, Garbodor is like a bad design in my opinion.
It's a giant pile of
It just
garbage.
wants to exist. It just wants to be trash.
So did Vanilla, but you wanted that thing wiped from existence.
Yeah, I know. I want it wiped from existence, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna like, hold it against it for all of it.
You know what's something
I
that's
will.
been bothering me that has to do related with Garbodor?
The fact that
That it's
it's
trash.
No. So the assistant for Sword and Shield's president.
yes.
Why is her signature Pokemon a Garbodor? Considering the
It has to
design
do
that
with
she
her
has.
backstory.
I suppose, but
Because I
Because
think
she
they
feels-
explained when she was younger, like as a kid, she was poor, impoverished straight up.
Mhm.
And like all she had to like play with was like a little Trubbish as a kid.
Mhm.
So like, when she got like, like in a higher position of power, like, like that little Trubbish like always stayed with her by her side. So it has like she has a soft spot for it. I think is how it was explained. So now you see her there with the Garbodor, and you see it with, Gigantamax, and I think there was a bow lodged in there somewhere. And it didn't matter because I just destroyed it all the same in the end.
Yeah.
I think it's just really funny that in Sword and Shield, like the entrance to get to the city and such like that, there's a chance that a Garbodor will appear near the door.
Cute.
And I'm just like, that's cute, but also that kind of gives that people tend to throw their trash out into the wild area.
Of course, they're British. Where do you think they're gonna throw it? In the trash can where the knives belong? No, of course not.
They don't. Wait, dude, they don't know what a trash can is. They call it rubbish.
Damn.
Hence the name. Trubbish.
And
Hence its appearance in Galar.
Anyway, so now, besides your bad design, what is your ugly or good design?
Ugly this time. The Pokemon Duo Sock and Throw or Thra or whatever it is you're supposed to pronounce
it's
those.
Thra.
Those two fighting types.
It's throw.
Those ain't
For some reason.
Pokemon. Those are just dudes that are just wearing like skin tight suits. While they're like practicing martial arts in the forest, and someone just like stumbled upon them and thought, "Oh, that's a Pokemon."
Well, that's the question that I proposed to a coworker of mine that got really confused. It's like if Rayquaza and Deoxys, who are not from the world of Pokemon, are considered Pokemon, even
Rayquaza
though they're from space.
Well,
No.
Rayquaza is actually from this world, the world of Pokemon as we understand it. It's just that it doesn't like to live with plebes in the ground. It goes up to the ozone.
But
That's
then
how
it's
I
like-
understood it.
But then like Deoxys, for example, is considered a Pokemon, even though it came from freaking outer space as an alien.
Even though it's a mutated piece of virus.
Yeah, it's Deoxys is a mutated virus. I get the feeling that anything that just lands in the world of Pokemon
becomes a
somehow
Pokemon.
becomes a Pokemon.
So
exactly.
now the question is if we like go to space, make it through like whatever planetary discovery that we have and travel that we had to go through and such, and land on a world of Pokemon, are we considered Pokemon?
You land on the moon, you find a Clefairy.
That'd be terrifying, honestly.
We would be considered Pokemon, even though we look like the trainers there.
You get caught in a
I-
Pokeball.
I think the distinct difference is because they're just simply not made in Arceus's image. Clef, would you agree with this?
I don't think Mew's made in Arceus's image, but we still like endorsed it as the first Pokemon.
We considered
Yeah.
it the Jesus of Pokemon. Arceus is God, and everything else afterwards is.
What
is
does that
personified.
make? What does that make Lord Helix, huh?
The
And
resurrection?
The
resurrection.
lies that were given to us.
Anyway, so yeah, like Sock and Throw, is your problem mainly because they just look too humanoid?
The fact that they look just like humans wearing like a blue and a red suit.
In karate uniform.
The karate uniform is one thing. We're talking about like just like the
The body.
the body itself. Like they're just humanoid. Like it's just a human in a suit.
Is it because
That's
they have
the.
noses?
You could say it's because of the noses. You could say it's because of that weird T plus thing they have on their face that makes it look like a nose. Regardless,
They can't T-pose normally, so they have to T-pose some way.
I suppose. But yeah, so that's something I wanted to bring up with my good design of Gardevoir. You guys just vehemently skipped over.
Yeah, okay.
It looks
so you wanna
vaguely
set my-
humanoid, but it still gives the idea that it's like a fairy. It's mystical. There's like a sense of like mystery
Okay.
to it. Sock and
Okay.
Throw is just straight up. No, these are dudes.
On that note, by that logic, on that note, where does Obstagoon land in that category?
It looks like you're playing like run of the mill punk raccoon. If anything, it reminds me of like that. That's what probably. How do I phrase this nicely? It is what Rigby wishes he could be,
Okay, but here's
given the
problem.
opportunity.
But here's the thing. Gardevoir is one of the canonical Pokemon in history that has actually gotten married to a human.
I recall no such thing happening.
From Arceus, Legends of Arceus, someone actually said they
Yup.
married their Gardevoir.
I gotta have to look through that game again. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You realize why people got into Gardevoir to the point that the Pokemon Company had to say, okay, okay, technically, you can marry your Pokemon, but from back in the day, not in the modern
Only
day.
in the past, in
Back
the modern
in
day.
my day, when
There are no
animals were
rules in the
still
Pokemon
legal,
world, Batman.
And we didn't.
Joker, no. Joker, it's an animal.
No one said it's like the Pokemons are still good.
No. So, you can look at Gardevoir and say, that looks like a Pokemon. It looks like a humanoid Pokemon. You look at Suck and Throw, you do not say that is a humanoid Pokemon. You say, that's a human.
rock.
Disguising
That's
as
a
a Pokemon.
No, that's God, what was his name again? That's the Thing from the
The
Fantastic
thing.
Four.
It is the thing. Yes. That is.
But it learned karate.
Yeah.
And wore the top half of his clothes too,
Okay,
instead of just the
I
pants.
think if they give him more of like an elemental design to it, since I feel like we need to like talk about how to improve the design, right?
Like if they
I-
added more like
One was a
rock
more like
features.
firefighting, and the other one was like an ice fighting, and they added more like of an aesthetic or based around that design. I think that would be like a little more cool to have, other than just like. So what are the two biggest things about people? One, they're normal. Two, sometimes they punch things. Hence, like Sock and Throw just being a fighting type is just like a guy that you just really likes to punch a lot.
Just to me, they look like Bert and Ernie.
Or punch a lot.
They
They
could
are
go
Bert
for
and
more
Ernie.
Bert and
That's what
Ernie
Bert
type
and
of
Ernie
aesthetic.
grew up to be.
Okay, well,
okay. What's your other good design that you don't want to go back? That isn't Gardevoir.
Gengar. Its Mega is absolutely phenomenal. It's shiny. Is like
It's just a darn shame. I was about to say something entirely different. It's just a darn shame that we're never gonna see Megas again.
honestly, it's so disappointing. You can still see him in Pokemon Go though. I love my perfect IV
I like the
shiny
gigantic-
Gengar Mega Evolved.
I like the Gigantamax Gengar as well. That one was really nice.
It's a pretty cool design they gave it when it Gigantamaxed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Shiny
mean like
perfect IV Mega Gengar. Is it lucky?
no, sadly.
That would be the trifecta.
Ooh, definitely, dude. But yeah, I mean, I named it Casper because I think it's
So
very
it's a friendly
fitting.
ghost.
No, just because it's a white ghost.
No, it's not friendly
Oh,
at all.
it's not
Look
friendly
at
at all,
that
it's-
face.
There's a reason why I, given the opportunity, I would put like the whole like warning. There's like a dog like in this house. I would like attach something similar to that around the Gengar. Even though it could be as sweet as a button, I would just definitely still put the sign around it regardless. Like, no, this thing bites. When in reality, all it does is just walk up to you, it gives you a lick and paralyzes you.
This kind of gives you guys a glimpse of if Pokemon were real and they were just like reduced down to household pets and how we would live with them.
Use lick on the home invader quickly while they're paralyzed. Rob them.
Hey, all's fair. He started it.
They broke into my house. The least I can do is steal his stuff.
Look. I keep the Garchomp in the
IKEA.
backyard, and he's gonna be good. He's gonna sunbathe because we live in Texas, and Texas is hot.
I get the feeling if it sneezes, it's either gonna use like a flamethrower type move or a hyper beam on accident. What are you gonna do with the insurance company then, huh?
Look,
He has
Pokemon don't
allergies. It's
automatic-
seasonal.
Look, Pokemon don't
In
automatically
our part of
use
Texas,
moves.
pollen gets really bad this time of year. How do you think a Garchomp's gonna react to that?
Anyway, so I guess it's
No, not anyways. I need to discuss this.
I suppose it's my turn now. So this is my last set of Pokemon.
Answer the
that
question.
This is the last set of Pokemon that I have for my good, the bad, and the ugly set. And of course, we have to end the good with Pikachu. Pikachu is the mascot for a freaking reason, guys.
I feel like they should have stopped like at some point,
But like, okay, so Pikachu,
especially with the new series coming out.
But
We don't need a
Pikachu's still-
Captain Pikachu.
Pikachu's in there. Stop it.
We don't.
I
That's what I'm
need-
saying. We should have stopped. We don't need Captain Pikachu anymore.
I need Detective Pikachu.
We need Detective Pikachu. We don't need Captain Pikachu. We could have had Captain Eevee and Detective Pikachu.
I
That
need
would've made
Ryan,
for an
I need
amazing
Ryan
combo.
Reynolds to solve more mysteries.
Well, I don't know about that.
He's already a human at the end of the movie, so.
Just make him back into a
Spoilers,
Pokemon.
spoilers.
Don't worry, there's always spoilers at the beginning of this episode. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyway,
Yeah, I
Guys,
feel like we need to do that more
shameless
often.
plug in right here. Like and subscribe, please.
so Pikachu's the mascot for a reason, and they knew what they were doing with Pikachu. Originally, if you look back in the history of Pokemon, Pikachu was not the first choice, though.
You say Pikachu is the mascot of Pokemon, but I just look at the bus driver that fucking crammed all 106 of the original Pokemon into a bus and then squished them into a Game Boy.
I know not of what you speak.
The original.
You know not of the war crimes.
Anyway, but like, so they knew what they were doing, and honestly, I also like the cosplayers with the mascot costumes.
Oh, the
Pikachu
people that just go, yeah.
and everything. I
The
just like
giant
how
Pikachu
they walk.
suits?
I like how they walk.
They
March of the
They don't
Penguin
walk.
style.
And the thing is that like Pikachu could look good even
No, May, there
when
is
they
no
went
guac
from
here.
even when they had like the big kind of like chunky design that Pikachu originally had, which was more round.
Chunkachu.
And then they got thinner throughout the years, and then they had to acknowledge the original design with Gigantamax Pikachu with Chunkachu.
I feel like it's a crime that they just made Pikachu thinner throughout the series.
It is.
I love the original Pikachu design.
He's so
It
round.
is a travesty.
But like, okay, so the thing is that Pikachu works out very well because one, it's a simple design that is also unique in a way that's not gonna get copied super duper easily. But at the same time,
unless you're from China and just making knockoff Pokemon.
But at the same time, it's so recognizable that any parent who doesn't know anything about it will instantly recognize it.
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu. It's Clefairy.
But like, yeah, so it's the thing. Like, that's why I say Eevee right now. That's the thing though. Like, that's why I said earlier that Eevee is technically the second mascot of Pokemon because Pikachu cannot be replaced. That's why he's still in the new anime, even though Ash is gone and such like that.
You say that, but they
Pikachu.
replace him every generation.
With the new, skinnier looking Pikachu.
Except in Alola. We had two versions in Alola.
Mimikyu was best. Why did we put Mimikyu here?
It's
Mimikyu is best boy, and no one can tell me otherwise.
It is the best Pikachu clone by just blatantly being the best Pikachu clone.
okay, but
By
I'm gonna
literally
also-
being a Pikachu clone.
But
Oh, yeah?
I'm also gonna go towards my bad design, and I don't know who came up with this, but I hate Stunfisk.
Why?
Objection.
He's a nerd.
I don't like it. It's honestly ugh.
It's a flatfish. What else?
It's
What
a-
is there not to like?
It's a flounder! What? Yeah, it is the... Out of everything you've listed that you do not like, that is the one Pokemon that closely mimics what you would see IRL.
I don't like it. It doesn't
I think it looks goofy, yes.
I don't
But I don't know if it's bad.
I don't really like it, especially because I think the Galarian Stunfisk.
Okay, maybe
Yeah, but
that has
that's
like
a
a little
hunting
more room
trap.
for argument.
Galarian Stunfisk doesn't look any different from regular Stunfisk and such like that.
Honestly,
and then
they
when
should've-
Regular Stunfisk can't close its body like 180 degrees.
But then
In that case, they should have just made Galarian Stunfisk like a straight up a bear trap.
But then here's the thing:
It is,
Galarian Stunfisk is shiny. It's just Stunfisk.
of
which is
course,
sad.
and so is Hisuian Decidueye. It's straight up just Decidueye, but with a hat.
But with the head, yeah.
But there's the
Just
thing.
like
But there's
just
the
like,
thing. Just Stunfisk period just doesn't look good to me. I don't like it.
You don't like nature is what it is. That's
Well-
what I've been picking up
well,
here.
no,
You don't
here's
like
my-
the penguin, you don't like slime, you don't like flatfish.
No, because my problem with this flatfish in particular, normally flatfish are still technically horizontal. Horizontal, if that makes sense. Like, both of their eyes are going to be on one side then, but they're still technically horizontally fish.
nah.
Except this one is vertical, like if you're looking at it like a person vertically rather than the sideways view that
So
fish
what
are
is
traditionally
so what's a
supposed to be.
manta ray then? So what
If
is a
it's-
manta ray
if
then?
it's
It's an
supposed to
ugly
be a-
flatfish.
Yeah, but if it's supposed to be a manta ray, that makes sense, because that's why we have Mantine.
which is a really good design as well, we must say.
But Stunfisk doesn't make any sense, and I dislike its colors and everything, because if it's supposed to be like a flat mudfish and everything, then why do you have spots of yellow? Oh, because it's electric. That's not an excuse.
I feel like you need some space here and to rethink your judgment in Pokemon.
You need to rethink your terrible judgment of poor Stunfisk over here.
Okay. So that's just my bad. Now we're gonna hit the
You're
undoubtedly.
right, it is your bad.
It is gonna be the undoubtedly agreed ugly Pokemon, Jinx.
Well, now
Yeah.
hold on a second.
I dislike
That
Jinx
could
for the
that
life
could
of
be
me.
taken that could be taken completely out of context, and someone's just gonna like wait on the sidelines, going like racist.
No,
Yeah, you can't do that.
no, my problem.
And then I'm just here like I'm just here like
It was not
Jinx
me.
was originally black, and then Nintendo looked at it and thought nobody likes it the way it is, so we're gonna make it blue.
Purple.
Purple.
No. It went blue first actually, and then it went purple.
They pulled a
Because
Mr. Popo on it.
I understand why
Pulled
it.
Mr.
Look, I understand why the color it was originally, because obviously on the Game Boy you have very limited numbers of colors to use in the sprite, which is white, the white color default background, which is the greenish color, the black, and then if you have a white background actually and you're actually able to use colors, you either use the red color or the blue color based on if you have Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue.
Look. As someone who's messed around with the Game Boy and like Game Boy ROMs and hacks, I can tell you very vividly that the purple color existed and they chose not to use it.
It was
They
intentional.
chose not to use it for that release. They knew exactly what they were doing, and then they turned it around and were like, well, we don't want to seem racist, so let's make her blue. And
But
then they were like, wait.
aside from the racist take that could possibly also contribute to why Jinx is on the ugly
Possibly
side of things.
racist, but I never saw it as such.
My main problem is the design of her lips and such like that. She's supposed to be like one of the Pokemon that uses like kiss, like her lips,
Drain kiss.
drain kiss and such.
What do you
like that and
mean?
everything.
She's a Kardashian.
I don't like it. I think it's the pairing of the eyes with the lips that doesn't really make sense to me.
You just don't like it because you probably would not like Mr. Popo then. That's all I gotta say. Even though
Popo.
they were a key integral character to the plot of Dragon Ball.
If
Don't
I had to
stop.
fix Jinx, quote unquote, minus color and everything, I think my problem with Jinx mainly is just the face area and everything, and I would just fix it that if they were gonna make her a sort of like, because I think the original intent was that she was supposed to look like a Harajuku girl and such like
Yeah.
that and everything, they have to fix the eyes a tiny. If she's supposed to be a Harajuku girl, which Harajuku girls do not by default look ugly in that sense. They are very pretty in their style and such like that. Jinx does not resemble that. So I think they just have to fix the eyes to more of a almond shape, or like kind of like Gardevoir's a bit or something like that.
Smooch them.
And everything to make it resemble, like they put an effort to be pretty, evolutionary and such like that with the almond eyes. They put like eyeshadow, because Harajuku girls wear like blue eyeshadow and such like that. Like the tropical kind, tropical Harajuku girls.
Okay.
And I think that
See,
would
we
fix
learn
my.
something every day.
I think that would fix my issue with Jinx and such like that. Besides color.
So what's this tag you have next to this? Is Ref Frostlass.
So I was using it as a reference. Like people were saying, like I had proposed this before to someone else, and they were like, "Well, she's an ice type and such like that. She's supposed to be of this color and everything on the undertone with the purple in the background and such like that." And I'm like, no. So Jinx has this color of blonde hair and then red attire that kind of clash with the purple skin that they were going with after a while.
That they changed it to.
And such like that. And it's not the undertone purple that's the problem, and everything. Because Frostlass also has the undertone purple, But they do it a little bit better with Frostlass because it's mainly a cooler color scheme on her rather than the warmer color scheme that they put on Jinx.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's why I use a tropical Harajuku girl as an example, because I think that's what they were going for. Using the purple backdrop doesn't really help with the warmer color tones that they were trying to go with.
Right. And I mean, like, at least in the case of Frostlass, the
cooler
color underneath its shell that it has is just more of a secondary color than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like with Jinx, it's kind of up in the forefront along with the hair and the dress.
Yeah, so it's too much up front with the eye shape problem that they need to fix with changing the eye shape to make it look like at least like kind of like close like half lidded to show like a blue eyeshadow if they're gonna continue with the tropical look, and make the purple just less vibrant, kind of like saturated down a tiny bit to keep it with that dark origin color and such like that, but to make the hair and the dress and the lips the forefront if that's what you're intending for, but not borderline like blackface. But that's my last one, because arguably everyone could agree Jinx is just kind of ugly up front.
I think it's trying its best.
Alright, and Clef, would you like to give your last set of good bad?
Oh boy, would I like to give my thoughts and opinions on Galaxy Brain mythical, technically mythical, actually legendary. Calyrex. Oh, buddy.
Why is it ugly to you?
It's not ugly to you?
Well, no.
I thought it was like universally understood. It is.
No.
I'm
I'm opening it for him.
I look at the. Okay, you don't know why I think it's ugly? I look at the horses. I look at the two legendary horses, and my initial thought is, wow, they look cool. They might not be very original, Ponyta, but they look cool.
What grand beast, like, and it came out technically on like the, what was the name of the DLC it came out of? Crown Tundra?
Oh, Crown Tundra, yes.
So you're imagining like what majestic emperor beast is gonna be riding these mythical Pokemon, and you see Calyrex.
I see Galaxy Brain with twigs for legs and a deer head.
That thing would just simply fall over on its side.
I always thought it was a rabbit.
Well,
it is if you really look at, I have rabbits. I'm looking at them right now.
Look at the face.
Guarantee
look at the face
you.
And tell me that's a rabbit.
Please tell me that's a rabbit.
That long, exaggerated snout? That looks like a rabbit to you?
I don't know, because I always thought like the portion holding up the bulb was ears.
Even if they were, the snout should kind of give you the idea that it's probably not a rabbit.
I don't think it has 4 ears.
You could say maybe it's a dog. Maybe you could say it's a jackal. Maybe you could say
it has a
freaking
freaking Triforce in its necklace and all beads of it.
That
Look, they wanted to reference Link from The Legend of Zelda, and they did the pose too. If you look at where he takes control of the horse legendary, he does the pose
like
of Link coming in from Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess or Majora's Mask, and he comes in doing the pose. And I'm just here like, so we went around, got all your stuff for you, gave it to you, and you become one of the most broken legendaries at the time, because a legendary that upscales itself based on how many things it's killed is amazing. It is great. Unfortunately, you exist the way you do, and you get 2 abilities on top of them. You don't get one singular ability, no. You get Calyrex and the horse ability.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so broken for something that looks so derpy.
It is not the best design they could have pulled.
No, you wanna know what's gonna be a problem for me? Because
you have to transfer it in to the main series?
I look at Arulage and Cerulege from Scarlet and Violet, and my thought was...
Rouge.
Yeah, Armarouge and Cerulege.
Cerulege.
But here's the thing. Calyrex, if it gets to a point when we get more reactive 3D models, has jiggle physics on the orb part. is gonna bother
That's not the
me.
kind of jiggle physics I want.
That's not what I want to see. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, because at first I thought, okay, so it's like a puffy thing, but if it's supposed to be like.
That's his brain. That's literally his brain. The
Yeah.
big ass thing on his head is his brain.
He has big brain.
And if it has jiggles, I'm just like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm done. I don't want to deal with that.
The only thing that should have jiggle physics.
Jizzle physics.
Jizzle fix.
That too. The only thing I would imagine that has like jiggle physics in Nintendo's like long history of games is Mario's nose, I think. And honestly, I think that's all the physics we should be seeing.
Or Luigi's nose.
Or Luigi. But not Waluigi or Wario. No. That's
No, those are
horrifying to
different-
think
those are
of.
different jiggle physics.
Anyway, but what is your last good design that you want to propose for tonight?
My last good design that I would love to bring out is, weirdly enough, Swampert. It
Okay.
is a starter design. I absolutely love the little boy starting from Mudkip going all the way to the derp that is Marshtomp. And then we get Swampert.
We heard you like
Swampert,
medkits.
Swampert. I
It is
love
good as design.
Swampert. It is probably one of my 3 favorites out of all the starters.
From
It
that
would have,
generation?
Yeah. No, in general. Because my
In
3 favorite
general.
starters are Decidueye, Swampert, and Typhlosion.
Okay.
They are amazing. They are all good boys, and they all deserve to be saved from whatever cruel fate the current president of Nintendo is on.
But like, yeah, I also like Swampert. Swampert. To be fair, Mudkip is my boy. I started with the Hoenn region, and I got
He
Mudkip every single time.
Alright.
And I will say, Swampert is a beast at the time. Like
The typing is unrivaled.
Having a water ground type in the Hoenn region when he came out was really overpowered, because the only time you will ever have a problem is in your rival battles, obviously, because they pick Trico.
Oh, especially if you played Pokemon Ruby. You pick Swampert, you just ran through everything.
Mm-hmm.
There is 0 issue.
Yeah, the only
Groudon who?
again, your only issue is your rivals, but if you get another Pokemon that counteracts that Sceptile, and that's it.
Admittedly, you get a flying type, the Tailor from the beginning of the game,
So
evolve
you
into
have
Swallow.
no problem
That's-
afterwards.
Yeah, you have 0 problem.
So like Swampert, best boy. Ironically though, I do remember Marshtomp from the anime also acting a little bit like Brock at one point, because it had
A
a
little
crush.
sauce.
goofy, yeah.
He had a
Tiny big goofy.
He had a crush on a Pokemon, and then got totally heartbroken when he found out that Pokemon had already had a lady, and it's like had like another partner, and it's like ah.
Big sad, my dude.
Don't come near me or my family ever again.
All right, is that what you want to close out on? There's nothing else you want to add to it?
He has a few other runner-ups listed here.
I have a few other designs, but like we gotta continue on with our movements.
So, Raptor, what is your last set of the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Alright, so hitting it one more time with ugly, just to get
Hitting the
that done
gritty.
and out of the way. Just to hit the gritty one last time. Sanaconda.
Sandaconda.
I feel it.
It's not a bad design.
It's
It
just a bad
doesn't look
Pokemon.
It just doesn't. Its face isn't the best. The way it just kind of wraps in on itself is just kind of why?
I mean,
You look
like,
Why
at
are
it.
you existing?
I mean, like, I could kind of agree with you. I do have also a problem with Sandaconda, mostly because if it's supposed to be like a snake, a ground type, and it's supposed to like go through the desert and stuff like that, what is it doing? Rolling around? Because if it's in the cone
At the speed of
shape-
sound?
No, because if it's in the
Rolling
cone,
around.
have you ever tried rolling a cone and everything?
Yes.
If you roll a cone, it's just gonna go around in a circle. It's not going anywhere.
Yes.
But like that's something they kind of don't show in the game itself
Of
or
how
in
it
the
moves?
anime, mind you. No, they do show how it moves. It's just that if you look at Sandaconda as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
it springs when it's going to fight. But the Pokédex entry basically says that the giant tube is just filled with sand and it deflates it at will.
Okay.
So it's just a snake that has a floaty.
Honestly, if it was a snake with a floaty design, I think that would be better. But the way its current design looks is just
Not good.
Not really the best.
It is a snake with a floaty though. It's just a poorly designed snake with a floaty.
Exactly. That's the problem, though. It's poorly designed. I feel like they could have improved it.
If you felt like Sandaconda was more like a weasel
Ooh,
kind of design.
no. Well, I was gonna say either that or because I know there is some snakes that live in desert-like environments that were like in the dunes of sub-Saharan Africa, I think, or like in the Sahara Desert itself. Those actually just kind of like ride the sandy waves. They could have done that, just like a snake that just kind of rides around on the sand, or also that thing, just give it a little
motorcycle
floaties.
Sandaconda.
Yes.
That's all
Motorcycle
That's all that
Sandaconda.
came in my brain anyway. I'm so sorry. But anyway, so Sandaconda, you're ugly. That you would fix.
Don't say it like that.
All right.
Sandaconda, I'm sorry, but you're ugly.
No, I was referring to your chosen ugly Pokemon. Okay, so next
I don't want to
is-
choose it.
So your next is your bad design.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, this is gonna be quick and brief. Calyrex. Clef already just like talked about it, so no more needs to be said about that. Calyrex. It's short, stubby legs. It can easily fall over. Good design. What about good design? For the last one, I'm gonna have to go with Tyranitar. Its Mega is beautiful. The greatest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. Its normal form, is just amazing in its own right. I look at that and I think to myself, that's a dinosaur.
Because you like dinosaurs. Of course you do, Raptor. You're you.
No comment.
But,
No comment.
But then, would you have preferred if Tyranitar was in Scarlet to have a prehistoric design rather than in Violet where it has a futuristic robot design?
Honestly, all I can say is not enough Godzilla thrown into it.
It is Mecha Godzilla technically.
We do, but that's what
We
I'm saying.
have
I wanted
Mothra.
more of a primordial like Godzilla design.
We have
to it.
Mothra and Volcarona.
We have Mothra, we have Mecha Godzilla like based Pokemon designs, but no like. Okay, well we do have
Godzilla.
like. Well, there is that one Pokemon that's an Ice type.
I guess.
I forget what that one is,
You
but it has the
mean
little
we
plates
have
on the back.
Chadzilla?
But either way, Tyranitar is just like a great standoff design. I look at that thing, it looks intimidating. I've ever seen the movie with Celebi. It was even more intimidating because they had like that
Hyper Beam
that-
going through the forest.
The
well, not only
Hyper
that,
Bingo
but
bird.
the way the Pokeball in which it was caught just like made it more evil. Like it brought out the worst in it, quite literally. So it always had like this mean look to it even more, and I was like, that's a really cool design. I want that Pokeball.
I want my Pokemon
Wait
to
a
look
second.
as evil as possible.
Okay. Anyway, so that's all the designs that we're probably going to talk about tonight and such. We could go on for hours, but I don't want to make that podcast that long and such like
We
that.
could.
Don't let her know. We're gonna do it behind her back.
It's fine.
No.
Jose will just trim it down.
No. Okay.
30 minutes. Go.
Anyway, so thanks for listening, everyone, and hope to see you again on another Otaku Nightly Hour. Leave some comments about topics that you want to hear from us and what guests you would like to hear as well. And of course, until next time, you guys want to say anything before we go?
I want an argument in the comments
They
section
banned.
about that Pokemon.
They banned Skittles in California.
And with that,
Why did they ban Skittles?
And with that, good night, everyone. Bye.